Chubstep.
Jrad.
Creating the oil of judgment.
Steed. Chubstep.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the king of the jungle.
Who's in charge? Me or the devil? I think I'm in charge.
I'm Fly. I'm Pilot.
You look pretty.
What did you say?
I said you look shitty. Good night, Denise.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Yeah, the show started. Welcome back. Season 5, episode 1. Big one. We have a fun one. Big one. Season 5. We've got huge episode. No guest. We're switching things up. You're stuck with just me and Jared.
It's more intimate this way, I think.
It is more intimate. So maybe if I get too close to the camera, I disappear on YouTube. But I'll do a little whisper.
I'm still here. We're doing most of this in ASMR. I can't actually hear you, Steve. What are you saying?
I want you to cuddle me in.
Okay, good. Thank God. I would love that, but you're so far away.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Chubstep back.
That almost
All right,
got really erotic.
Although people did enjoy the ASMR that I did a while ago. If people want to send me something ASMR, email the show chubstep.podcast@gmail.com. Steed, big news. Can I say the big news?
Yeah.
We officially sold out.
Oh my God. It's official now?
It's official. If you were listening to this on anywhere but YouTube, there's now ads throughout the show, beginning of the show, end of the show, whenever I decide to throw in an ad in the middle of the show. We sold out.
Jay, you've got a baby to feed. Me, I've got a balcony now. And this balcony ain't come cheap.
That's
okay.
That's right.
Yeah, it's exciting news. The people, you know what? If they bother you so much, find a new podcast to listen to.
Yeah.
There's plenty of them out there.
Yeah, and they all have ads.
I'm telling all our guests to leave. All our viewers to leave.
Well, listeners.
All our
listeners and viewers. Yeah. It's a good move to do. Hey, the people that appreciate your show, that follow your show, tell them to leave.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. We don't actually get any money from that if nobody listens to the show, though. So the amount that we get is based on the amount of impressions that we make.
Oh, okay. So
So
if you use code JRAD50.
JRAD Z50. This is different. So
50.
that's a different. Okay, there's ads versus deals that we have with our many deals that we have. This one's about obviously Vita Coco. JRAD Z50, all caps, 50% off new customers, Vita Coco. Coconut water. Get it now.
Yeah, that's the best way, right?
That's just a deal. The other ones, people don't really get anything from the advertisements except for to know about other products.
Oh, that's how those work. Whenever I see one, like an advertisement comes on my screen or in my ears, my brain goes blank. It like shuts off until the ad's over.
That's because we see so many of them. It's overwhelming.
I know. The only ads that ever work for me is like KFC ads. If like right before I'm hungry.
Yeah.
It's got to be that specific.
Yeah. Me and Chubstep Amy just had this. We had this exact same conversation about the Domino's stuffed crust pizza.
Ooh.
It worked on us. And guess what? It's good.
Yeah. Duh.
Yeah.
Better than Pizza Hut? Maybe.
It is. It was definitely better than Pizza Hut's.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So add some. Maybe we'll get only Domino's ads. Can you set it up like that?
The way you could set it up, here's the only way you could set up. So I don't get to pick and choose the ads that you're hearing at the beginning and the end. What you could pick is what level of vulgarity were you find within your. It was really what kind of companies are you fine with, like how strict do you want the companies to be there doing advertisements?
Oh,
regardless, you could not have like smoking or drinking ones or sexually explicit ones where like that was none of the options. But I picked everything but those options. I would have been fine with that. Hey, I don't let anybody.
Wait, you cut them out?
Libsyn, who hosts our podcast, does not allow that to be an option.
Oh, so we got to find a new podcast hoster.
We got to find a new hosting place that'll allow for those kind of ads. Yeah.
Yeah, I want like Pornhub ads. going.
Why not? Anybody.
Well, like right in the
If they
middle
wanna-
would
if
be
they want
like,
to sponsor for us.
we'd be talking just like now, and then a quick 5-second like, are you seriously masturbating alone right now? And then it would just resume us, and then people would be like, what? What? I gotta go.
Like you want the type of ad that's going to get somebody in trouble for when they listen to it.
Oh yeah,
Like if somebody overhears them listening to us, they're like, "Wait, what are you listening to? What are you watching?"
yeah, but it's quick. It's quick. It gets right
Yeah.
back into the action.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what other stuff you want to talk about other than our selling up? Other than the main topic, anything you need to bring up?
Honestly, I like sat last weekend.
Yep.
I'm peeling because sun is bad for you, I guess.
Yeah.
Especially when you're a Portland man like me. I went in the sun and now my whole body decided to peel its skin off. I haven't eaten food in 2 days.
Okay.
Got to get the weight loss going. Got to jumpstart it.
Okay, well, good, Steve. Let's get to the topic then.
Okay.
All right. This was your idea. Steve gets
Don't
credit
put
for
this on me. Don't put this on me.
I'll start it off. And it's a deep dive on a very specific thing, so it's we'll see how much detail we get. But basically 1999, the year is 1999. Will Smith.
Jared.
It's a great year for movies. Little movie comes out. Will Smith, end of the, post-Civil War, kind of robots. It's kind of mixture historical fiction. There's robots. It's
This is
Wild,
one
Wild
of
West.
the
Sparks a great song called Wild Wild West. We go into the Wild Wild West. Yeah.
one of Will Smith's best.
One of Will Smith's best. I think Mike James, who's been on the show many times, I think he knows all the lyrics to that song if I remember correctly.
Good.
This whole day I've had the song Wild Wild West stuck in my head.
I'm happy I could do that for you.
So you did that to me. Will Smith, obviously starring Will Smith, right?
Yes.
Little Wild Wild West top, little trivia for you. Apparently he turned down the role of the Matrix to take the movie Wild Wild West.
Wow.
He said it was the worst decision he ever made in his career. He was supposed to be the lead in the Matrix.
Yeah, that's a pretty bad decision. Because while people did not receive Wild Wild West, the movie, that well, I thought it was a good movie. Probably because I was 12 when it came out.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. It's literally designed for like 12-year-old boys, I think.
Yeah. It was awesome.
I've rewatched it again more recently. Yeah, it's not like great. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen, but it's not great. Will Smith actually ended up having a pretty decent career, so I think it worked out for him. So did Keanu Reeves. So I think they both kind of worked out for both of them. Will Smith, obviously, one of the more recent films he was in, 2021, Suicide Squad. I don't know if you saw that, Steve.
I did not see.
I did not either. But there was a cameo from somebody that's playing Batman. That man
is
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck. Wow.
There's your tie from the Wild Wild West, which actually takes place in the Wild West, which is today's topic.
I was a little worried that somehow you interpreted me saying, what about Wild West Tall Tales? And then you were like, maybe you read it quickly and you're like, Wild West Tall movie, Will Smith. Will Smith is tall. And then you just did a deep dive on the movie Wild Wild West.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay, so you start us off with the real thing, Steve.
Okay, so I wanted to do some quick tall tales from the Wild West. I found a couple fun ones.
Sure.
Everybody knows, we're not diving. Everybody knows what the Wild West is. It was a dusty place. Everybody was dust.
Yes.
There was no grass. It was all dust. And everybody had a gun and nobody could read. And it was the best time in American history.
Yes.
I think. Okay, so
keep going. I'll tell you. Well, actually, real quick about the best time in American history. I think there's these times that people have in their head, and you don't know if you like it because it sounds fun to be there, like it would actually be fun for a little bit, or would you be there because it's so interesting, it's so unique, or would it just be like actually the worst place ever to be in your life? And I think that kind of happens. I feel like this is maybe more of a male thing than a female thing, but I don't know. I feel like World War II and Wild West are like things that people think about a lot. And it's like, oh, they're interesting, but they also would probably be some of the worst places to be. Like,
I'm yeah,
you think
World War II. Yeah,
okay,
I
but
agree
the
with
Wild Wild West, I mean, it's like if it is this sort of thing where like somebody could kill you and probably get away with it, is that really a place you want to be, or like you never really
you.
feel safe?
Okay, for one, you can do that too, but that's why
Okay.
you got to get a posse. You get a group
Yeah.
of dudes.
Yes.
You get a bunch of dudes together, and you're
Yes.
like, all right, everybody walk in a circle at all times, so we can always be watching each other's backs.
Yes.
That's how tumbleweed started. Um, no, so Wild West. Here's the good thing.
Okay.
There were still packs of bison roaming the land.
Yes.
This is why I want to go back. So you could have delicious bison meat anytime you want it.
Okay. Sorry, one more thing about bison. You and me got that bison burger. The first time I ever had bison
Yeah.
burger at the Wall Drug in South Dakota.
I know, in the
Wasn't
Wild
that
West.
great?
Because it's that was barely any bison. They mixed it
Yeah.
up with probably freaking
It was probably 5% bison. And
goose
also
or
it's like
something.
that was a shitty restaurant. I think we
That
stole the
restaurant
salt.
sucked. That was the worst place I've ever been to.
I think we stole the salt and pepper shakers just because we were upset about
Yeah,
it.
you did.
I
I
stole
didn't.
them. Sure.
Yeah, did you thief?
Yeah.
You could have got hung for that in the Wild Wild West.
Okay, so yeah, you've got bison roaming around.
Yes,
And
bison, gold in them hills.
well, what okay, but bison ended up getting a lot of extinct because people were just like mass killing these things. They'd be shooting out of the
Off the
locomotives
trains.
would be going by and they'd just be shooting out and being like,
Yeah,
hey, there's some, just shoot them, keep moving on.
yeah.
The big
Maybe my
targets.
job could have been like a bison educator. So I'd go town to town and be like, all right, guys, we want these to survive.
Yeah.
Because so, in 2025, Paul can eat them.
Two bison fun facts. One is the skull of the bison is so strong in the front. I remember looking at this in a ranger thing, that apparently they can take a 9mm round to the certain parts of its skull in the front and be fine.
Wow.
I don't know if that was. I
It would
never
probably give it a
fact-checked that,
headache.
but I remember a ranger telling me that, and one of the like in South Dakota somewhere like that. A ranger saying that.
Probably
Secondly,
have a
there's also
concussion.
yeah, it could have been complete bullshit. Also, there are bison on Catalina Island in California.
Oh,
There's
okay.
it's this tiny island. They did a movie there a bunch of years ago that was kind of a Western themed movie. And the bison ended up like they just left the bison there one night.
Oh my God.
So there's these wild bison living at this small like California island.
Wow.
Okay, yeah, keep going. Gold.
Okay, gold. There's gold in them hills. There's Bitcoin now. So, Bitcoin was quick though. It was like a 10-year period. Nobody trusted it. People have always trusted gold.
Yes.
Okay, back in the day, you want to go in them hills, you want to find that gold. There's gold in them hills.
Yes.
You can make your fortune. You buy like $1 hand, and then you get your dudes, go up into the hills, stake your claim, you're camping, shooting bison, sleeping on bison hides. That sounds like a pretty good life to me.
Tell me about it.
Mm-hmm. So,
except for you don't find gold that often.
No, there was always gold. There was gold everywhere back.
There's gold in these hills.
Yeah, there's gold in them hills. Yeah, get them, Scoodle. Get them.
Well, what would happen with these gold towns is they'd find gold, and you'd have a few people who'd catch gold and get rich, and then other people would find out there was gold going on there. And then there would be a huge town around it, and then that town would get...
Yeah, you throw the town up in like a month.
Yeah, throw a town up in a month. There'd be a ton of crime, prostitution, all this kind of stuff. And then they'd realize there's no gold there, and then the town becomes abandoned.
Yeah. And you go to the next place. It's like spring break.
So you're right.
Coachella.
It's when you put it that way, I really like that.
It'd be awesome. It would be hot.
Yeah.
Sometimes. But that's basically it.
Yeah.
That's the only bad thing. You have $1 back then, you're just rich.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, inflation has really taken the dollar for a whirl.
It would be so much easier to like rob a bank and carry all the money out because you have to carry like $22, and
Actually, it's
you can
very
buy a
valid.
house.
That's why people are robbing banks so much. Because nowadays it's like you got to carry
Oh
thousands of
my god!
dollars in cash. It's not even.
Yeah,
Not
it's
even worth
ridiculous. You
it.
need multiple bags to put it in, and it's just a hassle.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Cameras.
it's a very
Yeah.
good point, Steve.
So I think it would have been fun to live in the wild, wild west.
Yeah.
You want to you want to start off our first Wild West tale with a man who thought it would be fun, but it didn't end up too fun for him.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, this was a cowpoke. Was he a cowpoke? He was kind of an outlaw, bandit man. His name was Elmer McCurdy. You ever heard of Elmer McCurdy?
No, never heard of Elmer McCurdy.
Yeah, so if you Google Elmer McCurdy, pictures of Jeanette McCurdy, the star, she was in iCarly.
Yeah,
she comes up next to this name, and it's like a bio about Elmer McCurdy. It's like he was an outlaw, and then it's just pictures of Jeanette McCurdy. So AI needs to get a little better. So this guy, he was born in 1880s, American outlaw.
Yeah.
He grew up tough. He was eating dirt. He was having tuberculosis. Parents had tuberculosis. Everybody had tuberculosis back in these days. He started drinking as a teen, as one does when whatever.
Yeah.
You're back in the 1880s. Became an alcoholic so he could never have a job. So then he's like, I better go to Kansas. Gets arrested. Starts his life of crime. Goes in the army, learns how to use a machine gun. Learns how to use nitroglycerin. Gets out of the army. What did he do? He got kicked out of the army, kind of, because he was, he stole some shit. Army found him, kicked out of the army, and he's like, all right, screw it. I'm going to use all my army training to, do some robberies.
Yes.
So he's like, I'm going to use this nitroglycerin. And he tried to, blow up banks or blow into safes, and it never worked. He had no idea how much nitroglycerin to use. So it would just not work. He was going to try and steal $4,000, like cash money.
Okay.
$4,000. Tried to blow up a safe on like a train car. He does the whole thing. Stops the train, gets the nitroglycerin, tries to blow up the car, ends up making a small hole in it, destroying most of the money with the nitroglycerin, and they get like $100 in silver coins. And the silver coins were just like melted.
Oh my god!
Because of the nitroglycerin. So he tries the nitroglycerin again at a bank. First, he tries through it with a hammer. It takes 2 hours, and he's like, "Fuck it, I'm using the nitroglycerin again." Smashes through the door, destroys the interior, but it doesn't damage the safe inside. So he blows the vault open.
Okay.
And there's just a safe in the vault. He tries to blow the safe up. The charge doesn't ignite, and the lookout man just runs away. And then they're like, all right, fuck it, we'll steal $150 in coins. So they're big coin. They're not like bank. He's not a bank robber. He's a coin robber.
Okay. He's a coin collector, maybe.
Yeah, he's a coin collector. Then this is what's quoted here. Jumps on a train, gets to Kansas, goes to some ranch, stays in a hay shed, and drinks heavily for a few weeks. And his final robbery in October, all the way in 1911. So he lived to about 30.
Okay.
He wanted to rob a train that contained $400,000 in cash, which this is how you know he's a bad guy. This was a payment to the Osage Nation from the government. So he was taking the Native Americans' money.
They're not gonna like that.
Yep. So they go to rob that train. Stop a passenger train. Instead, they robbed the wrong train, and instead of $400,000, they steal $46 from a mail clerk. And some whiskey and a coat and a watch. It was one of the smallest train robberies in history.
Not a record you want to have.
Yeah.
Not a record you want to have.
Yeah, so he gets drunk on the whiskey he stole. He's already got tuberculosis. He's sleeping in this hay loft. and the sheriffs are looking for him because they're like, this guy's just a drunk idiot. They track him with bloodhounds, find him, shoot him a couple times, whatever. He's wasted. They just gun him down. Anyways, here's a real fun part of his story. They take his dead body, and he's got some fame now because just he's been robbing all over the place. So they're like, hey, we want to put his body on display. So they put his body on display because back in the day, people would just come look at it. It was like their TV. They're like, hey, we want to come see this body. So they go to see the body. People like it. And then some carnival who a carnival. Oh, no, it's a wax museum. Carnival / wax museum, some weird thing, steals his body because they want to put it in their museum as like some Wild West outlaw.
Okay.
So they're like, all right, we want to steal your body. We're going to embalm it, fill it with wax.
Formaldehyde and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. So they do it for a while, make some wax figures of it, and then they decide the real body looks too disgusting and not alive enough. Like at this point, they think it's like a wax body. It like changed hands. They think it's a wax body. They're like, this thing's gross. Whatever. Let's sell it to this amusement park guy in California. They give it to this amusement park guy in California. And then sometime around 1976, while they're filming the show, The $6 Million Man, they're doing this filming scenes in this fun house. And in some back room, they find this body and they're like, hey, is that a wax mannequin? Like, what the hell? So they go to move it and its arm falls off. And they're like, that's human body.
Oh, no.
Do some digging.
So like 100 years have been there almost? Like
do some digging.
Yeah.
Yep. And they found this guy. They found old man McCurdy's body. And that's the true story of a Wild West outlaw.
Oh my God. What was with old, like people like 100 years ago and prior loved to keep bodies like preserved?
Yeah, they like to look at them and like take souvenirs of them.
Yeah. I'll have to do this. God, there's a story. I won't go into the details of it because I'll ruin the story later, but maybe we have to do a whole thing on just preserved bodies. I mean, you talked about that.
Oh God, the horror one.
Yeah, the horror one. That was a true crime one where the guy keeps his wife, like his dead wife, around.
No, it wasn't even his wife.
Oh yeah, it was like
the thing. He had a different wife, and this is the girl
right.
he was just in love with.
That's right. Yeah, it wasn't even.
Carl Gustav, I think.
Yeah, good memory. Yeah, but there's people like this. There was a South American kind of president leader that was kept, like her body ended up being kept for years after and being traded around, and this would go here and here. I won't go to the details of that one, but like there's a lot of stuff in history. Just people like, what are you expecting? Like, what's the goal there with keeping the body?
Well, so if it was like, let's say it was Hitler, right?
Yeah.
And I'm one of the guys in World War II, and I like find Hitler, and I'm like, man, this guy was, a dick. I hate him. And then I look around and I'd be like, I'm gonna take a toe. I'm gonna keep one of his toes.
Yeah.
Because then when like my friends came over, I'd be like, you want to see something cool? And they're like, okay, what is it? Like, do you have a model car collection? And I'd be like, better. I got Hitler's toe in a jar.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's essentially what relics are with like the church, right? Where they have little bones of like a saint or something. It's just like, hey, let me keep that and stick it on a wall in Morton Grove's church in Illinois, and or put it inside the altar.
Yeah.
It's no different than that. I guess it just the keeping it, to me, like a toe is like a weird keepsake, like a rabbit's foot or something like that. People put it on their keychain. Preserving a whole body is just like, I just don't ever see the appeal of that. But what do I know?
Yeah, it's gonna look gross no matter what you do.
Steed, there was did you ever see the movie that? No, these are untrue ones. This is Tall.
You got a Tall Tale. Okay.
Tall Tale. John Henry. John Henry,
the whacking guy. He was the whacking guy.
The
Yeah,
whacking
the
guy.
sledgehammer.
Yeah.
I love John Henry.
Jacked guy.
Oh, yeah.
That basically the steel man, the steel driving man, that's what they call them. But basically, they've got a machine coming into town, and it's
Yeah.
going to take away the jobs. And this machine says I can do it faster than a human. It can make a hole
Mhm.
faster than a human. So John Henry says he's going to race the steam drill.
Oh, yeah.
Says he can do it faster, and he gets two 10-pound hammers, and he's drilling through, or some things has one giant hammer, so he's got two hammers, and he's just beating through this thing. He ends up winning, and then he dies because he put so much effort into the thing. So
He
yeah,
beat the machine.
technically you could beat the machine, but you lost.
Also, like, yeah, John Henry, but I'd be like, look at old Phil next to you. Phil ain't gonna be swinging those hammers.
No, there's not as jacked as John Henry. And also,
Yeah.
it's like that to me. That's the definition of working harder, not smarter. I mean, like they're literally saying,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, sure, you could do this if you want to kill yourself by doing it,
Or
or you can
they're
just
like, John Henry, you could go to college. You could be a doctor.
or you could learn how to run the machine, John Henry.
Yeah. You could start your own company and run 4 machines.
Exactly.
Okay, do you want another real one?
I'll do one more real one, then I got
Okay,
like two
this-
kind of shorter ones.
Yeah, mine are shorter
Okay.
than this one.
Well, that one was pretty insane, but yes.
Yeah. Okay, so this one's about old. Actually, this one was a little more. He's a little smart. How do I do it? Smart old man voice. Nah, I can't do it. Charles Hatfield. This man knew secrets of how to make rain. He was
Ooh.
American cloud seeder. Old
Like
Hatfield.
like Bezos.
He was doing it in 1902.
Oh God.
So he grew up in Southern California, somewhere near San Diego. He started developing 23 chemicals, a secret mixture that attracted rain. He called himself a moisture accelerator. This is actually what he's doing. He's saying, "I can come bring rain."
It's
he's
similar, like for Star Wars fans, Luke Skywalker grew up on a moisture farm.
Yep.
Same concept.
Yeah, about the same concept.
Yeah.
So he tells people he can build rain in 1902, 1904.
Okay.
They built some towers and released a mixture in the air. Some ranchers actually paid him because it worked. It rained the next day. They gave him $100. Then he starts getting more job offers. He promised Los Angeles 18 inches of rain in, I think, 1905.
That's a lot.
18 inches. Guess what had happened? 18 inches of rain came down.
Seriously?
They gave him $1,000.
Wow.
He built another one of those towers, releases chemicals. 18 inches of rain come down. He's then, in 1906, invited to the Yukon Territory. So they hear about him. They're like, we need rain. Come on. We need, get up here. They're going to give him $10,000.
Oh my God.
This time the rain doesn't come so much.
Oh, no. Did they pay him ahead of time?
They did not pay him ahead of time.
Okay.
They end up paying him for his expenses about $1,000, and his supporters they don't care. So now here's where his downfall kind of starts. San Diego wants to fill the reservoir at the Morena Dam, and I guess it's some empty reservoir. I don't know. Don't worry about it. It's a dam. It's empty. San Diego wants it full. Who do they call? Old Man Klondike. Hetfield. He says he'll make the rain for free, but he wants $1,000 per inch between whatever. He does some shit. He's like, I'll give it to you for free, but then when it gets to 40 to 50 inches, I want $10,000.
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah.
yeah. I like it. Incentives.
Yeah. So they're like, whatever. We'll just give you $10,000 if the thing gets full. Yeah. And he's like, all right, great. So it's a verbal agreement. They build the tower. And, on like January 2nd, January 5th comes in, heavy rain starts coming in. Heavy rain. A little too heavy. All the dry riverbeds are now flooding.
Okay.
Bridges are getting destroyed. Trains are getting marooned.
Oh no.
Phone cables are getting cut. Homes and farms are flooded. 2 dams overflow. Rain stops. Breaks more. Another dam breaks. About 20 people died. and they're like, the press finds them. They're like, Hatfield, what the hell, man? And he's like, oh, it's not my fault. It's the city's fault. They want to rain. I gave them rain. Whatever. So the city's like, we're not going to pay you because this is bullshit. And he's like,
Sure.
blah, blah, blah. I got you the rain. So the city says, we will pay you if you accept liability for the damages. And there
Okay.
were claims of around $3.5 million in damage from this rainstorm. And Hatfield's like, fuck. So then he's like, all right, I don't want the 10,000, I want 4,000. And he sues the council.
Oh my God.
Thankfully, the judges were smarter than anyone else in this story that thought Hatfield was making rain. And they're like, this is just an act of God. Nobody gets any money from this. You are all morons, essentially. So he doesn't get money. He doesn't owe money. And then he dies. And his freaking weather chemicals have been lost to history.
So nobody could recreate it.
No, what historians think is that he was just really good at like reading weather patterns.
Oh, that actually makes a ton more sense.
Yeah, they think that he was just like a early meteorologist essentially, and like maybe knew something about barometric pressure or whatever, like knew the signs of a storm coming, and then he'd just be like, all right, I'm building the tower like 2 days before the storm would come. The storm would come. And
that is genius. Like just a really good early weatherman that was actually legit. It was like, oh yeah, I'm seeing this coming. Look at this. Yeah. Oh my God.
So he was a little tricky guy. Easier to trick people back in the day.
But that's I mean, it's smart. It's like, yeah, you figure out your skill, then how do I exploit people for that?
Yeah, he's like, man, I know when the rain's coming. How do I make money?
Yeah, it is. I mean, you just got to watch out when it backfires, like you said.
Yeah, backfired big time.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, I'm going to talk about a guy that some people have heard of. There's a lot of these names. I mean, the thing about Wild West and Tales, I mean, the reason I think it is so famous because there's so many of these kind of crazy stories and stuff like this, right? These are 2 people who you just said crazy ones you've never heard of. There's a ton of people that people have heard of, like Wild Bill Hickok.
Oh yeah,
people heard of Wild Bill Hickok, right?
You've
got like, you've got Tombstone with the wild. First of all, the best 2
Wyatt
movies, Wyatt Earp, and that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah,
Wyatt. But there's, anyway, there's a bunch of people. First of all, my 2 favorite Wild West movies are Tombstone and Bone Tomahawk. Those are my favorite 2.
Whoa, I don't think Bone Tomahawk's my favorite.
It's in my top
there.
2.
I think I like 310 to Yuma better.
Okay, that's fair.
That's just me.
Okay, that's just you. I'm going to type a Wild Bill Hickok.
Okay.
So I'm actually not going to tell you that much about him because he actually has a crazy life. And he dies at like age 39 and like he ends up dying pretty young. Well, all these guys died pretty young for the most part. But he ends up getting shot. But just the amount of stuff that he was involved in, just early, I could do a whole podcast just on him.
Yeah.
But essentially, he was kind of a bad guy, then becomes a sheriff. So this is at the part of where he's a sheriff. So this whole story started because a guy that owns a saloon puts a large advertisement of they said comically well endowed bull on the side.
Oh my God.
On the side of the saloon.
I saw something about this.
Yeah. So it was actually called Bull's Head Saloon. I think that's why they did this.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
So the town, the people are outraged. Oh no,
The boss's penis is too big.
So big. So ladies are calling. Apparently, I have to get the mayor involved, right? Because the guys won't remove this.
Yeah, those cowards.
So, anyway, this guy, apparently the owner sees Bill Hickok, maybe doesn't know his whole past. This guy's kind of not a guy you want to be messing with. He's kind of one of if you've heard of somebody from the Wild West, that means they've killed a lot of people. They've been involved in a lot of things. They're not somebody you want to mess with.
Yeah.
And anyway, this guy's starting to intimidate him, the guy that owns the saloon, and he's like, kill a crow on the wing. I don't even know what that means.
He said,
Bill Hickok's response is, did the crow have a pistol? Was he shooting back? I will be.
Yeah, that's some old-timey nuts.
I don't even know what these sayings are. They don't even make any sense. But the point
on a
is,
wing.
So one of the owners basically tries to draw his gun. Like, this is a classic like standoff thing. Pulls the gun on Hickok. Hickok shoots the guy. Kills one of the saloon owners.
Well, that guy deserved it.
That guy had it. He's got a quick hand. He does this. But here's the other thing that happens. Then, as this is going on, another guy's running at him. Hickok, quick turn around, shot off. Turns out it was his deputy.
Oh no!
Deputy Marshal Mike Williams. So accidentally kills one of his friends.
Oh, he just saw a guy with a gun and he's like, ah!
Well, somebody's like running after him. He just shot somebody. Like, quick reaction, but not apparently enough to see anybody. So basically, just because somebody drew a large, penis on a bowl, two people ended up dead.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's the Wild West.
That's a Wild West for you.
I'll do one more quick one. It's not really a tall tale, but just, well, I guess it's a tale of sorts. So people were talking about this red ghost that they would see.
The red ghost.
You know this one too?
Yeah.
So
I was going to talk about this, but
you were?
Yeah, you go for it.
Okay, well, you can fill in whatever spots I'm missing here. So
okay.
People were claiming to see this red ghost. Now, they were saying it was 30 feet. Obviously, it's not going to be 30 feet because it's not real, but this is around the 1880s, Arizona. And people are thinking now that here's a little history of what happened. This is Jefferson Davis, who was the Secretary of War at the time. He allocated $30,000 for the purchase of camels. And he said camels because they had to transport a lot of stuff, before cars and stuff. So they have to transport a lot of goods for the military between, as you've said, Steve says all the time, a lot of America is just desert, shitty desert.
Yep.
If you're going between Boise and
if you're going between
Washington,
if you're going between California and Ohio,
sure, there's a lot of nothing going on. So they're like, hey, we've got horses and mules, and those are okay, but how about camels who are designed to they don't need a lot of water? It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So they get 75 camels, $30,000, and it seems like a lot of money for camels, but they had to get them from the Middle East. So
yeah, shipping back then.
Yeah. And they have some of them are going from Texas to California. They did 1,200 mile trip, and they did some times around the Mexican border. Everything's going good. But then kind of the Civil War is going on.
Yeah. I can't believe the Civil War ruined us from having camels roaming the American Southwest.
Yeah, apparently the Civil War also ruined us from having cricket as a sport in the U.S. Apparently
that I'm okay with.
Cricket. They were playing cricket apparently, during the Civil War. I think it was a more common thing, and then it kind of died out after the Civil War. Anywho, Confederate soldiers, they were a little more preoccupied with trying to secede than to take care of camels. So they're just like, I don't really know what to do with them. Just let them go, and they'll go on their own. And some of them were sold at auction, but some of them were just like, yeah, just go do whatever you want. And they think that these tales of the red ghost or whatever walking around is just these camels that were alive,
yeah,
15, 20 years later. Some camels still alive and repopulated and stuff, just living wild.
I love that
in Arizona. Yeah,
so much. Yeah, that would have been awesome if we had camels. I mean, they're better suited for the Empire.
It makes so much more sense for a lot of spots. Yeah.
And right now we just got donkeys out.
Yeah, and donkeys are no fun. Like mules was such a big thing back today. Like I don't even know what do I do with a mule. I can't do anything with a mule. Well, let me
Can't do anything with a mule.
I could ride a camel.
You ever seen a mule? They're big, huge. I saw a mule and I was like, damn, that thing's cool. I saw a mule that had
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, my aunt
had like a mohawk.
Yes. They're not all huge, dude. They're not all huge.
Well, there were two that I saw. They were big as hell.
Okay. You were
and there's
small,
this
though.
like 4-year-old girl riding.
Nice.
She's like, I want to ride a mule.
Yeah.
I was like, well, that kid's gonna ride that thing?
Yes.
Her dad just like threw her up on it. She just rode the mule around.
Yeah. Those were kind of short. Do you have another one you want to get to, or is that it?
Nope.
That's the thing.
Was it.
The reality means this could literally be a 10-part episode on Wild West. We got to stop it at some point because we'll do more specifics on Wild West things.
If people want a specific Wild West story,
or a specific Wild West story, or even like we could even go more specific within Wild West stuff because there's so many stories from this time. It's hard to pick like which ones you want to go into.
Yeah, there's a lot going on
involving Mormons. There's stuff involving
the Mormon thing is just hilarious. Maybe
Jesse
we should do a
James.
Mormon episode.
Jesse James. There's stuff just about like there's so many little things you don't even know about UFOs and stuff like that. So there's a bunch of stuff like that. You could do ones on just outlaws. You could do one on fashion. I looked up stuff. But anyway, there's a bunch of stuff you go. Anyway, we're not gonna do that right now because the show's only so long. And we got advertisers we got to please.
We got ads. All right, stick around. There's going to be an ad coming up.
There's going to be some ads. You're going to love these at the end. You guys are going to love these.
I recommend this company personally. I don't know what it is, but I recommend
at gmail.com, chubstep.podcast@gmail.com. Go ahead and email us if you have new topics you want us to deep dive on, even deeper dive. You can be very specific. That's fine with us. YouTube, Chubstep Podcast. Check us out there if you want some visuals. And the show has ended. Be gone.
Now you know you got to go.
Peace. This is Yasin.